This is Bristol. So, let's get ready to rumble!
Frame up, gang. Frame up.
And feel the earthquake. My heart starts to pound as my hands start to shake. Green flag waves in the crowd, gives a roar, there's no turning back with my pedal to the floor. Checkered flag waiting and now it's my turn. Smoke in the rear view as my tires start to burn. Slam on the gas, foot off the brake. Here I am flying by number 8. To us, we can't get enough. Go, go, go. Town to town, well, it's always a rush. Ain't no caution here, it's only green. I just can't help it, I'm a NASCAR fade.
It's gonna be a drag race. Wow! They touch!
3 wide running, tied in a pack. Bumper to bumper around the track. Spotters in my right ear telling me to go. Gotta watch those RPMs so my engine doesn't blow. Tire goes down just in front of me. Smoke is all around and I can't see. One catches fire and another hits a wall. Only one can win and the others have to fall. Go, go, go. It's a hazard to us, we can't get enough. Go, go, go. Town to town, well, it's always a rush. Ain't no caution here, it's only green. I just can't help it, I'm a NASCAR fiend.
The trailing arms underneath that thing, those are like steel I-beams, and they were almost bent double.
Racing down the backstretch, pedal to the floor, running low in a 3 and high. Gotta fall, then my heart skips a beat as the crowd gets on its feet. Cross the line in a blaze as a checker flag away.
Racing began in 1903, but didn't really make an appearance in America until after the 1920s Prohibition. Bootleggers paid men to amp up their car engines and create space to hide the alcohol. These men could successfully outrun the cops with the improved cars. On September 26, 1909, William Henry Getty France Sr. was born in Washington, D.C. His father gave him the middle name Getty after a great oil dynasty. It was his hope that his son would one day reach greatness. Commonly known as Big Bill or Bill France Sr., he spent the early years of his life working in auto body shops and learning as much as he could about cars and how they worked. By 1926, at just 17 years old, Big Bill had put together his first race car and entered himself in an oval dirt track race. He spent his rookie years racing the dirt tracks in Washington, D.C. In 1931, at 22, Bill married his sweetheart Ann Bledsoe. They had their first child, Bill France Jr., in 1933, and in 1934 they decided to leave Washington, D.C. for a more promising life in Miami, Florida. The couple had a second child, James France, in 1944. On their way to Miami, they stopped in the sandy town of Daytona, Florida, and fell in love with it. Big Bill, Ann, and Baby Bill Jr. settled their life in Daytona. Once his family was settled, Bill Sr. found a job at the Daytona Motor Company and later opened his own Amoco service station. Although he now had a family, Big Bill never gave up his passion for racing. Bill Sr. entered races on the 1.5 oval mile track that was part beach and part of Highway A1A. From 1926 until 1940, he raced on that track. He didn't limit himself to just dirt. He also raced on asphalt tracks, starting in 1936, and he placed 5th in his first race. After winning a championship in 1940, Bill decided he wanted to place his focus on the more organizational part of racing and races. In 1940, when Big Bill decided to start promoting races, he handed out prizes such as rum, cigars, and car oil to winners. While promoting, Bill noticed how winners weren't guaranteed their purses, and more often than not, sponsors would take off with the racers' money before they could collect it. He also felt that the winners of championship races should be considered as national championship winners, but to be recognized by the national committee, the racers had to belong to an organization. In 1947, Big Bill founded the NCSCC, the National Championship Stock Car Circuit, with the slogan, "We're the fastest that run the fastest." This was Big Bill's way of uniting all stock car racers, and starting with the 1947 race season, championship winners would be considered as national champions. The racer who won in 47 won a trophy and a $1,000 purse. After the NCSCC, Big Bill wanted to continue forward onto bigger and better dreams. He wanted to form an organization solely for stock cars with sanctioned asphalt tracks, rules and regulations, a scheduled racing season, and an organized championship. The concept behind Bill Sr.'s idea was simple. My car can beat your car. But the meaning behind the idea was so much more. It was to bring racers together, united as one, competing freely but safely. That's how NASCAR started, a simple idea by a big man. In December 1947 and into January and February of 1948, Big Bill met with other influential men in the racing world to discuss founding an organization that fitted Bill's dreams. It was at the Streamline Hotel in Daytona, Florida, where NASCAR, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, was conceived on February 21, 1948. It was an original, the one and only then and now.
I think that my racing experience was helpful in forming NASCAR.
Bill France was, I think, 6'8". He was a giant of a man. Without Bill France, there would have never been no NASCAR as everybody knows today.
This is Bill France, one of racing's most colorful figures.
In 1936, they put the first beach road stock car race on. After the war, the France family were the ones that kept the racing going for Daytona Beach.
When NASCAR was first established in 1948, Bill Sr. was immediately elected president. By the end of 48, he bought out his fellow co-owners and put NASCAR in the France name. Big Bill was president from 1948 until 1972, and in that time he not only changed the life of race car drivers, but also men like Wally Parks, who was a racer and a friend of Big Bill's. Wally took after Bill Sr. and established the NHRA, National Hot Rod Association, in 1951 for drag racers. For 24 years, Big Bill led NASCAR with good intentions. He was the man with the big dreams, while his wife Ann dealt with all the office aspects. While Ann was putting together all the interior work, Bill France was out trying to get the first asphalt track built, the Daytona International Speedway. Daytona is a 2.5 high-banked asphalt oval track located in Daytona, Florida. Big Bill was scared he would run out of funds for the track, so he called in a favor to an oil millionaire who provided $600,000. Bill had signed a 99-year lease on the land and sold 300,000 stocks at $1 apiece to help with the construction and upkeep. Daytona opened in 1959, and 10 years later, Big Bill started construction on NASCAR's second speedway, Talladega Superspeedway. Talladega is a 2.66-mile, high-banked asphalt oval track located in Talladega County, Alabama, and was opened for the 1969 race season. Those 24 years that Bill led NASCAR got the corporation up on its feet and other businesses off his back. After the completion of Talladega, Bill Sr. threatened to move the Daytona 500 from Daytona to Talladega because of all the hotels taking over the land. Bill said that moving the race would hurt his pocket, but it would hurt the pockets of the hotels more. He knew he could make a comeback. The hotels couldn't. Bill stood strong and the hotels backed down in order to keep the Daytona 500 in Daytona. On January 10, 1972, Bill France Sr. retired and passed on the corporation to his eldest son, Bill France Jr. Bill Sr. retired with his wife Ann in Florida and passed away on June 7, 1992 at 83 years old. Bill Jr. was president until 2003 when he passed it down to his son and current president, Brian France. Even after his death, Bill Sr. continued to make an impact. He created an organization that put some safety into the dangerous world of auto racing. Under NASCAR's rules and regulations, drivers have to wear a fire suit, racing gloves, a racing helmet equipped with a radio, and racing shoes. The cars also have to be equipped with a roll cage, no glass, a 5-point harness, and other regulations to keep the driver safe. Not only do the drivers have things in place, but there are walls and fences surrounding the track to keep fans out of harm. In case of a crash or a wall swipe, fans and drivers will all be kept out of harm's way.
His way through there to get an opportunity, and he's going to have it too.
Final corner at Daytona. Who's going to get here first? Regan Smith 7, Keselowski 22, Stewart 33, and contact! Smith turned around. Tony Stewart is going to win this race. And a terrible crash coming to the finish.
This is a big wreck.
Kyle Larson's car with the front end severely torn off. He's bailing out of the car. Part of that car did pierce the catch fencing shy of the start-finish line. You see some of the others involved. In that melee coming to the finish line, a car, Larson's, was turned up into the catch fencing, the safety fencing separating the racetrack from the grandstand. Parts of that car did pierce the catch fencing.
A tremendous impact. You could actually feel it shake the booth up here.
I'm so glad to see Larson climb from his machine. And there is attention being focused on the grandstand side of that fencing. And we'll hope everybody's okay. That is the engine out of the 32 car.
That's in the grandstand side of that wall. Yeah. Also tire and wheel assembly.
The whole front end of the 32 car is sheared off when it got up into that fencing. All of the drivers involved in that wreck. Wow. And again, safety officials are at the scene.
Through the years, NASCAR became a part of Southern culture. Many towns in the South were built around racetracks, and Saturday night races became a family tradition. NASCAR also gave many children and teens the dream of becoming a professional driver because Bill France Sr. made it possible. NASCAR-affiliated tracks such as Riverhead Raceway in Riverhead, New York, Wall Stadium Speedway in Southwell, New Jersey, Swainsboro Raceway in Swainsboro, Georgia, and Citrus County Speedway in Inverness, Florida, fueled the passion in young racers and kept the candle burning that they could one day have a future in NASCAR. Not only did Big Bill change the lives of people, he changed the future of the towns the NASCAR tracks were built in. He changed the economical situation by bringing in tourists and giving hundreds of job opportunities at the tracks. Bill France Sr. also changed the view many had on the possibilities of their own dreams. If one man could start a new life in a small town during the Great Depression, and a billion-dollar national company could come out of his passion and hard work, why couldn't they do the same? Even if their dreams seem ridiculous now, they could turn into a huge success. They could be like Bill Sr., a guy who loved cars with the support of dozens of daredevil drivers.
Don't make a sound. Say, have you heard the news today? One flag will day we take this town. No king or queen of any state get up to shut it down. Open the streets and raise the gates. I know I want to scale. I know I feel without a name. Head on without a care before it's way too late. Maybe the season, the colors change in the valley skies. Oh God, I've sealed my fate, running through hell. Heaven can wait. Long road to ruin there in your eyes, under the cold street lights. No tomorrow, no dead ends. Long road to ruin there in your eyes, under the cold street lights. No tomorrow, no dead end inside. For every piece to fall in place, forever gone without a trace. Your horizon takes its shape. No turning back, don't turn that page. Come now, I'm leaving here tonight. Come now, let's leave it all behind. Is that the price you pay? Running through hell, heaven can wait. Long road to ruin there in your eyes, under the cold street lights. No tomorrow, no dead ends. Long road to ruin there in your eyes, under the cold street lights. No tomorrow, no dead ends. Long road to ruin there in your eyes, under the cold street lights. No tomorrow, no dead end inside.
Although NASCAR started with one racing league, it was later expanded to the 3 current series it has today. The original stock car circuit which Big Bill started was the main and most popular NASCAR series, known as the Sprint Cup Series. The second series is the Nationwide Series and is the minor league to the Sprint Cup Big Leagues. 13 years later, in 1995, Bill Jr. established the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Drivers in this division race modified pickup trucks. Throughout his life, William H.G. France Sr. pursued his dream and made it into a reality. He truly did not see the difference he made in America and the hope he gave many that they could one day be a part of the legacy that is NASCAR.
NASCAR was born.
It's wonderful to have the opportunity of bringing this race to so many people. My gosh, we got a heck of a thing going because we do have a great sport, and I am very proud to be part of it. I'm just very happy I was able to get NASCAR put together because it's got a rooting interest of many, many people.
Under France, NASCAR became the major league sport of the South.
Through his life, Big Bill transformed racing, and through that, he changed America.
Don't you remember the fizz in a pepper, peanuts in a bottle, at 10, 2, and 4, a fried bologna sandwich with mayo and tomato, sitting around the table, don't happen much anymore. We got too complicated, it's all way overrated. I like the old and outdated way of life. Back when a hoe was a hoe, Coke was a Coke, and crack's what you were doing when you were cracking jokes. Back when a screw was a screw, I loved my records, black and shiny vinyl, clicks and pops and white noise. Man, they sounded fine. I had my favorite stations, the ones that played them all. Country, soul, rock and roll. What happened to those times? I'm reading street slang for dummies, 'cause they put pop in my country.